Hello, Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. And this is a live conversation where I do share or do a conversation with my friends from all over the world in the hopes of inspiring fellow kababayans and of course to help you somehow in achieving the your deepest desires of your heart or help you become the best version of yourself. Today, I am joined by my friend Janet. And since this is a live podcast, I am inviting everyone to interact with us in the comment section because at some point in this live stream, we will be reading your comments and answering your questions. Without any further ado, let's welcome Janet. Hi, John.
Hi, Ars. Hi, everyone. Hi.
Thank you so much, John, for indulging me with this conversation.
Oh,
I know
gosh.
you are so busy, but so this means a lot to me. John, who is
Yes.
Janet for all of our viewers watching?
So I am my full name, okay, Janet Christine Tariga Baguio. Okay, I will share my age. I am 33 years old. I am a mother of two beautiful children, a son and a daughter. We're blessed to have them both, and I have my husband Paul, which for sure most of you knows. My husband or my partner since I think how many years are we now? 12, 13 years since we started. So yeah, I am currently in Australia, particularly in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. I am in the sunny state of Australia. Currently it's autumn, but we have sun, so that's why it's called sunny. We have in a year we have like 300 days of sun, which is nice. It's like really just home, although we have four seasons here. Make it really like a good place for the kids not to also adjust too much. Of course we love the cold weather and all, but I think it's also another level here. Of course it's not snowing, which is nice as well for me and for the kids, but the fact of having sun almost all days in a year, it's something which also I really like here. So yeah, s- that's me. Hi, I'm Janet. People call me Janet, not my
Yeah,
second name. Janet,
and
yeah.
probably in Australia you are Janet because I think they're not
Yes.
used to using
No.
nicknames.
No.
All
Mhm.
right, Jan, can you please share to our viewers how you and your family ended up in Australia?
Oh, okay. Well, it wasn't planned at all. Like, when you are in your younger years, you know exactly when you would like to go or you want to end up like, okay, I would like to be in Australia in this and that and that. So, it took a lot of, I think last year, it took a lot of leap of faith, big life decision that we have to do, me and Paul, to be wherever we are now. And it wasn't easy. So uh I am I'm currently working with the same company for 10 years now. I'm just blessed that I have this this company that has been very supportive of my growth as a professional. And one of the things that I'm also very grateful is that I get them to sponsor my visa together with my family. So um I've always been traveling before, like a few years ago, 10 years ago, a few years ago before I got married and got children. It was part of my work, which I kind of like. So I didn't spend any penny on my traveling. It was part of my work as an internal control specialist at the time. I became an internal control manager a few years ago, and now I'm in Australia as a finance project manager. And um in that part of traveling, I've been to Australia twice. I visited three of their states. So I've been to Perth in Western Australia, I've been to Melbourne in South Australia, and I've been to Brisbane, where we are now, in Queensland. So of all the countries I have visited, together with Europe and on the others Asia mostly. I really like it, like, the environment, everything. The fact as well that it's also just an English speaking country is
Mm-hmm.
so much of an edge among the others. So how we move here, how we come here is,
Did you
since I've been,
apply? I'm sorry.
uh, sorry.
Did you apply for like,
Yes,
oh,
yes,
can you
yes.
move
I
me to
applied
Australia?
for so, what's good, maybe just to share a bit. So what's good with the company that I'm in is we are very open as to our career aspirations. So we have this tool, HR tool, that we can indicate if we are mobile, or if you are mobile, which country would you like to be in. So Australia was one in the
Oh.
list. So Australia, Europe, Canada was among the list. So it was always one of my unconscious dream before, when before I got married. I always wanted to be somewhere else, to be independent, to be just be away from everything, that kind of single life that I was always wanting before. But obviously, apparently, it didn't happen because I got married, I got children, but I wouldn't have it any other way for sure. So when Paul told me, let's go, so it's just really the go signal that I've been waiting for, Paul, before I make the big step of applying a position in Australia. And since because that means the willingness, to be with me, to be with the children, because it's a big step. It's not that it's just me now, it's really with the entire family. So you need to have the same mindset, the same
Yeah.
goal at the end of the day. So when he told me, let's go, then
All right. You.
I look
Uh-huh.
internally. I look for open
Uh-huh.
positions, specifically in Australia. What do we have there? And then it landed me this job. So I applied. I was selected. I got offered. So I went through the recruitment process, and yeah, I got this position.
And when they picked you, Jan, that okay, Jan, we are gonna move you to Australia. Did you pay a penny, or did they shoulder everything for you? And how
They
was the
showed.
processing? Did they do the processing for you as well?
Hmm. They shouldered everything. So we also have this international mobility program. So I'm not sure if I can mention the company, but the company that I'm in is it's a global company, a multinational company. So it has a global footprint everywhere, in the Philippines, in Asia, in Australia, in Europe, in Americas, even in Brazil. So yeah, they have this international mobility program. As long as you apply for the position, you get selected, you are yeah, you have been chosen. So part of their mobility program, okay, we sponsor you, and if you declare any of the any dependents, your husband, your children, then they sponsor you as well.
That's so
So
nice.
it's so nice. Like, it was
Uh,
just it all happened in less than a year, like last year,
yeah, actually,
technically.
I noticed. I was shocked when I saw that. What? They're moving to Australia, and you just bought a house and all that. I was like,
Exactly.
what?
Exactly. That's why I always call 2022 as a year of making big life decisions, and having those big leap of faith that, okay, it's something that, okay, we know we have bought a house. It's just less than a year that we were there. We've always been thinking of it as our retiring home, when where the children would grow. But at the end of the day, while the economic conditions everywhere, inflation and all, the needs, your family's needs also grow, and it goes
Mm-hmm.
together with your children. And and that changes everything for me and Paul. We have this conversation. What do we like for the children? How do we want their future to be like? And it's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's also the main driver that Paul was uh, gave this go signal. Why not go somewhere fast track of achieving our dreams, rather than, okay, we know we have a good life in the Philippines, but
Yeah.
how long does it take to save more and more and more for our future?
Exactly. I love the
We
fast
know
track.
I know, we have a stable life we can support for our family, for our immediate family, for our extended family. But how long does it take? Do you
Exactly.
so we need to we need to make this big life decision. Am I ready professionally? Am I ready to move from my previous role? Am I ready to are we ready as a small family to go somewhere where we know and we don't know anyone,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
just us independence and all, just taking care of the
Yeah.
kids and us doing the shifts, or who's taking what, who's doing what. So yeah, that was technically the what has happened in the last year. And now when we think of it, it's not easy ours, as everyone would think. We see
Uh-huh.
social media posts. It's like that we bought a car, for example. It's not easy when until we reach here, coming from Cebu to Australia, even like traveling with two kids
Oh
for
my
a few
God.
hours.
Yeah,
Exactly. And
let's talk about that later.
so yeah,
I
so
want to know the details. But
it's not easy. It's not easy.
yeah,
So
in regard to the employer visa, John, what were the requirements or the documentations that you had to submit
mm,
for them, for your company to process your visa?
yeah, so what's also good is, so they already have this partnered relocation support or an agency that took care of everything. So they gave me a checklist of requirements that I have to prepare for myself and for my dependents. So those include passport, birth certificate, for all of us, for the children, marriage certificate, so anything that could prove that they are my dependents.
Uh-huh.
Then for me as the main applicant, I would need to prove my professional experience, so that includes a CV or a resume, any professional registration in the Philippines, so that's the CPA board exam passer.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
um, and then what else, employment letter or certificate. And um, surprisingly, I was exempted of the IELTS, the English proficiency exam.
How it,
I
yeah, how?
I didn't have to take it because I was one of, I think they have four exemptions. If you are employed by a global company and somehow your salary is beyond some
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
threshold. So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I was in that, I belong to that category, and there were others. So luckily, as the main applicant, whatever is required of me is sufficient for my dependents. So they don't really have to prepare anything. It's just their birth certificate, my marriage certificate, passport, of course, for the children. All the rest lies with me as the main applicant. And if my visa gets approved, their visa also gets approved. So now we are currently in a working visa 482. So for medium term for 4 years, and it
Mm-hmm.
we will be eligible for a permanent residency later on if we want to apply, which we are planning as a long
Mm-hmm.
term plan. And yeah, it's actually very quick. So we have everything prepared. So our also the documents to also support, by the way, the your degree, your college degree. So we took the diploma, the transcript of records from University of Cebu,
Uh-huh.
and just prepared everything, just so when the agent comes to us, okay, are you prepared with all the documents? Okay, we have it everything. And true, we have
Nice.
it everything already, everything. They didn't come back with any lacking documents. We just have to take the medical exam for the four of us, which
Uh-huh.
is again covered by the company. We just have to shell off a certain amount and have it reimbursed later on. It's quite expensive if we have it personally. I think for the four of us, we spent almost 30,000 pesos
Oh.
for the
Uh-huh.
medical exam
Yeah, but
only. So
it's reimbursed by the
yes, it's
company.
reimbursed by the company, luckily. So it's not well, it is expensive, I would say. That's why I am just so happy that I got to be sponsored by the company. And all the costs, even the flying cost going to Australia, is covered.
Mm-hmm.
We have a 1 month relocation support, accommodation wise. So we were staying in an apartment in the city, free
Uh-huh.
for 1 month while we look for a permanent residence here in Australia.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, they also supported us with looking for the apartment as well. So we really have the relocation support. There's also like a tax support for you to understand what does it mean, Australian tax, how will you
Uh-huh,
be
uh-huh.
taxed. So really really supporting me from the beginning until we fully transition in
Really
Australia.
nice. Wow.
Yes,
And
it's a
that's so
good
nice.
visa
Yeah,
for
that's
A2.
so nice for the company to do that as well. And I mean, yeah, that's the advantage if you belong in this kind of company like multinational with global
Yes,
footprint. Like they
yes,
already thought of all like everything,
yes,
just to
yes,
make the process very smooth. So,
yes.
John, the $1 million question would be, what does it take to be sponsored by
Mm.
an employer like yours?
I think at the back of my mind, I have an experience in local companies in the Philippines, like 2 years, and I have always been eyeing to join a global company, and uh, without really a specific reason back then. Of course, I know they are paying more than the local companies. I think that was the main driver. But other than that, a global company, I think at the back of my mind, okay, maybe there is a possibility that later on I get to move, then they will support because they have global footprint. I can be anywhere I want if I get qualified. So that's one. Find a global multinational company, especially if you are from the Philippines, and I think that's the quickest way, at least for me, huh? And not
Yeah.
to be too stressed of finding an employer in Australia. So find, if you still have time and your Australia dream can still wait, invest some of your working experience in a global multinational company. Of course, you also have to to prove your record. So you work hard to have a name. You work hard to have a network. So for me, I spent 9 years, almost 10 years, 9.5, in my previous department or team. So it's for internal control, or what we call internal audit for some, and that's what I've always been liking to do since the beginning. And I didn't I didn't regret any year that I'm there, because again, I was traveling a lot. It made me exposed to a lot of processes, a lot of different knowledge that now I am very thankful that I got. So invest in making your track record really beautiful, or something that can prove to your employer later on that you are worthy of this international mobility program, and that yes, we can support you because you are a valuable employee of the company. You have proven yourself. So, and it doesn't really also mean that you have to stay 9 years, 10 years, obviously, because some can even achieve it earlier. I know of someone in my team
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
who's been with the company for less than 5 years. He was my team member, and he wanted to go to France, or he wanted to apply to an internal audit position
Mm-hmm.
in the headquarters in France, and yeah, he was selected. And
Nice.
yes, so that's the beautiful story of within the company. As long as you have a supportive network, you have a supportive colleagues, you have a supportive boss. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just also lucky and grateful that all throughout my years I have this beautiful lady boss, who's very very supportive of my decisions in life, and she has been my boss for the entire those years that I've been with a company. So every year, we have this development or people management one-to-one discussion, checking what has been your performance from the last year, what's your objectives, what's your plan for the next 3 to 5 years, or do you still plan to stay in the same team or in the same company. And every year I always say the same answer. I always tell her, I'm happy of where I am now. I'm happy traveling. I'm happy learning new things. It's not boring. I learn new things every year. It's not easy, but I learn something new. So I really think I will still be in the same team and in the same company in the next few years. And then 2022 happened. I think it was also something that for me, I think it took me also a while to also think 9, 10 years in internal control is for me is enough. So I think I have built a certain level of knowledge and experience that would help me in my next career path, because internal control is different from the accounting or finance world, right? Or
Yes.
as you know, and before, when I'm being asked, why do you like audit and not accounting or finance, and I always say, because it's not repetitive, it's not boring, it's something that
You're gonna think outside of the box.
exactly,
Yeah, you'll be
all
working with
this
other. Mm-hmm.
analytical procedures and everything. You will be dealing with a lot of people, talking to a lot of people, and then I was telling myself, you know what? It's not that I was tired of doing it. It's just that I think I've had enough experience. I think I know more than what's required for my next step. So why not try something in finance? And
Mm-hmm.
surprisingly, it's not boring. It's not repetitive. it's not um it's not something I thought of before. So all respect to the accounting majors or to the finance people with really finance experience is the beginning. So it's something that I'm very happy that I have now as an addition experience in my CV, and I know it will help me wherever I may be in the next few years. So
For
of course I'm
sure.
not stopping from here from finance,
Oh,
but
I can see
of
that.
course. So we're still young, ours, anything can
Yes.
happen. We're still
Yes.
young. So yeah.
So John, here's another big question. You encourage people who have dreams to move to other country to get or to join a global company in the Philippines. Now the
Mm,
question is, how can they get into the doors of this global company?
multinational.
What multinational companies? What
Mm-hmm.
were I mean, do you have some tips or pieces of advice for
Mm,
them to
mm-hmm.
secure a job like that?
Mm. If I go back to my experience, it's really how you show yourself during interviews that matters. Of course, it's also based on experience, because I was also hiring people in the past, and of course I look at the CV, I look at the resume. Do you have a good record? Do you have a good, I don't know, it's always like, is your course in line with what is expected from this job? But more than that, we always look for something, a spark, during the interviews. So what's
Mm.
also tricky, what's also what I like about this multinational company, I'm not sure if it's the same for all the rest, but at least for this one that I'm in, they don't even do exam, like
Mm.
written exam
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
or accounting exam, or to test your knowledge or to test your experiences. So you submit your CV. If you get pre-listed for an interview, you just have to show yourself in an interview, and you know do what you need to do during the interview, and then you receive a phone call that you are selected. So it's really during the interviews that would matter, for at least for me, and based on my experience, as based on as well the feedback from my previous manager in the past, that you have to show a certain level of confidence, but at the same time a certain level of empathy, that you are flexible, that it's not something that you know everything, but you are very open to learning, and someone
Mm-hmm.
who's trainable. So I don't know how you can share that or you can show that during the interviews, but be sympathetic as much as possible, not to be too proud, or to be proud of your experience. I can do this, I can do that, because we will know when, in the long run, when you do the actual work. Okay, it got dark. But during the interviews, really to give the first impression that, okay, this person is trainable, this person is very open-minded, this person is willing to learn. So I think that's, and also you have to really practice, or to express yourself clearly, because being a multinational
Mm.
company, communication skills is one of the big plus. So if you can relay yourself, explain yourself very well during the interviews, you can be but at the end of the day, at the end of the interview, you can still express it properly, because that's common,
Mm-hmm.
especially coming from the local. If you come from a local company and you're really not so used to speaking English, but in the multinational company, if you have proven that, communication skills wise, okay, she has something, you have something, so yeah, we can hire you. So I I also think before that it's very hard to get in, but I think when you just okay submit that CV, submit online, and prepare for the interview, prepare. I think just really prepare for the interview, especially if you get pre-listed. So then that would be a good step for you, hopefully, to get in.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with what you said, especially when you emphasize on the EQ rather than on the IQ, because
IQ, yeah.
some people, like, if, for example, they graduated with colors, sometimes they're very boastful, and and
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes even Jan, like when you're applying for a job, you will see, like, before when I was applying, like I can see like manya cum laudes, they will
Mm-hmm.
really have this, like
Yeah.
aura, or what do you call that. But then later on I was surprised that I was picked, um you know c- picked over them who have the flying colors. I did not graduate as manya or even cum laude. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so that's something to keep in mind for those who are aiming to ace the interview, is focus more on the EQ.
EQ.
And yes, yes, the EQ, because do you agree, John, that what we learned in college is just pretty much 5% of what we're gonna.
If ours, if not 0%, 5% maximum.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. Actually, college education is just I would say, showing people or the employers that you have the discipline to finish something, but not
Exactly.
really like the capability to execute the job, because the
Exactly.
capability to execute the job will be teach. I mean, yeah, you will be trained to do your job.
Oh
So yeah,
yeah.
focus on your. Yeah. So, and also, yeah, how you present yourself. Oh, I really love that, Jan. And also, Jan, you said that communication skills, that is really
Mm-hmm.
something. If
Yeah.
you are aspiring to be in a multinational or
Yes.
moving to other countries, improve your
Mm-hmm.
English. Now, Jan,
Yes.
do you have tips or
Mm.
tricks or advice for those who want to improve their English communication skills?
Um, what did I do? I think it comes with. I think it comes really from our working scholar experience as well. Ours, so
Oh,
I which I think you will go later on. But
yes.
um, the feeling of already working during university days, talking to different people, especially myself who was assigned to the admin office that we
Mhm.
face
In the
to the press
president's
in the
office.
president's office where we see the president every day. So I was in the VP office, assigned to the VP office. So I think my level of confidence and communication skills have been, I think, built there from the beginning. And I would say it comes naturally along the way as soon as you speak more of it. Of course, it was not also easy for me at the beginning. So I don't there were some when I started in this company. There were some months that okay, I'm so afraid to do presentation. I am not confident, but my boss was always telling me that you can do it, you can speak, you can. So it's not only communication skills actually, but it goes together with confidence. So
Confidence. Uh-huh.
confidence and communication skills, it goes along the way. And the more you practice, the more you, I'm not sure if reading books would help, or watching English movies without without the subtitles, or just yeah, speaking it more often than usual. Of course, it's so conyo if you speak in English with your friends, but um just speak more of it. Listen to yourself, is if possible. Record yourself if possible, because that also helps. For me, when I was doing also presentation before, I like to listen to myself because I know where I was like, okay, you have to improve there, or like here, I will be very interested to see the rewind. But anyway, it's good to also listen to yourself, to record to yourself, to record yourself. And yes, train yourself more. Don't limit yourself that okay, I'm good at this. So you just have to learn, practice more. So yeah.
Yeah, and also probably, John, associate with people who has the same values or the same mindset with you, like
Yes.
the same aspirations with you. So
Yes.
like if you mingle with somebody who's also wanna improve their communication skills, then you two
Mm-hmm.
can tandem, and
Yeah.
do
True.
communicate in English,
Yeah.
and yes, like I know it would sound cliche, but like they said, you would be the average of the five people that you hang out most with. So yeah, so that's something to think about. Like if you wanna if you wanna pursue something that you think is bigger than yourself, then you need to associate yourself with people who you think would help you get into that
Yes.
destination.
Yes.
Oh, that's so
True.
really nice. And when you mention about confidence as well, people will be like, but Janet, Arlene, how can I be confident?
Confident.
Yeah, yeah. How to develop that confidence? I just learned. I don't know if you've been listening to Simon Sinek. He said
Mm-hmm.
that confidence. He said before, when you think about confidence, you would thought that it's internal, that it's you who has the problem, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he said it's not really internal. It's
Yes.
external. It's outward. Like people, because some people, they are not confident because they don't have the right people surrounding them. Like the people surrounding them are not really supportive. And I would
Mm-hmm.
totally agree with that, John, because the reason why I know people would say you're very gutsy, you're very confident, because I know if I fail or if I do something, in life, I have my parents who have my back. Like before when I got
Yes.
married, yeah, and now that I'm married, I know that I have my husband who's like 100% supportive of me.
Yes.
So that's really something for you to keep in mind. And if you are a parent, develop that kind of environment for your kids, that you will always uplift
Yes.
them and support them, not shame them if they make a mistake, instead of shaming. Yeah, because it's really starts from the like early childhood years. But if you're in the case like you're already grown and you want to be more confident, Simon Sinek suggests that find somebody who has a problem of confidence and
Mm-hmm.
help that person become confident, because he said the more you help other people to be confident, and then
Yeah.
of course make it like altruistic. That's what he said as well, John. Make it altruistic.
Mm-hmm.
Do not just help the person because you want to help yourself. Like really
Yes. Help. Yeah.
focus your energy and everything to help that person, and you will just be surprised that you are in the process helping yourself to be confident.
As well. Yes.
Remember that,
That's
Jan, when we were
true.
in college, Jan, when we were in college, like what you call this, Papa Mats, they share this quote like, the more I learn, the more I learn, the little I know how little I know, or what was that their comment? Like
Something like.
basically, yeah, basically like the more you learn, the more you will realize how little you know. So like
Yes.
something like that. So yeah,
True.
the more you teach to other people, the more you will realize that, oh,
Mm-hmm.
these are the areas that I need as well. And yeah,
Yeah.
it will be
That's
like a
true.
reckoning or something. Oh, that's
Yeah,
so nice.
good thing you mentioned ours, that I'm also so grateful that I meet the right people in my career journey, and also within my family friend, of course, Paul. So yeah, really associate yourself with the right people. Of course, if it becomes toxic, right? So you have to get out of that as much as possible. But as long as you have the same mindset, you have the same goals, you have the same vision, and you believe in something in common, you don't have to be exactly the same persons, but yeah, associate yourself really with the right people, and they will really help you along the way. And for myself as well, I was very much supported by my previous boss, and then I started to manage my own team, so I have to also show it, or at least help my team members somehow to be where they want to be. So I think that also goes into like, you have to help someone to also help
Mm-hmm.
yourself. And that's true, when I was starting as internal control specialist, I was like, I think I am okay. But when are managing people, it's a completely different story. Like I was managing people for like 3, and they increased to 10, and it's a lot, it's a handful to handle. But you learn with them at the end of the day. You learn with them to, and it's always what I always say to them: communication skills. You don't have to know everything to be confident. You can even what you call this, you can, how do you call that, you can even try to show it as if you are confident although you don't know the
Fake it
topic.
till you make it.
Yes, fake it till you make it. And something I usually do that because obviously you don't know everything 100%. And when you do presentations and people ask you of things, you know, okay, I was an auditor, and they try to challenge you with questions. They try to challenge your knowledge as well, and you don't have
Mm-hmm.
to go to that level of very much trying to prove yourself, but you can just say, I can get back to you on that, or something that confidently you can just, it's really how you carry yourself. So it's not also the level of knowledge do but really carrying yourself well, communicating well. So fake it till they believe it.
And also a lot of um diplomatic ways to communicate in the corporate world as well. That's something also that people has to learn, because some intellectual people, um they can't, like, get into the higher ranks in in the corporate, because they don't know how to really relate to people. And that's one of the important things, like if you want to really go up the ranks, like how to
Hmm.
work with people.
People.
And like you said, John, fake it till you make it. and uh,
Yes.
and actually, there's actually a science on that, like especially like sometimes when you're feeling low, and you just don't know what to do. They said that just look at yourself in the mirror, and even if you're not happy, try to fake a smile. And yeah,
It
try to
helps.
fake a
Yes.
smile, and then that's a good step for you to be happy. And I mean,
Yes.
it would sound like really that would help me, but yeah, a lot of psychologists did a study, and it really worked. And speaking of like you said, John, like it takes a lot of like helping other people, and you said it's a different kind of animal to serve other people. But how do you balance, that that right there, you said it's stress. I mean, yeah, there's a stress there's a challenge on your part, and at the same time you have two kids
Oh yes.
how do you excel? You are very successful in your career, and at the same time you have a very, I would say, loving, and I would say one, yeah, a family that somebody can really like emulate or look up to. So how do you do that, John?
Ah, it's not easy, ours. And two kids, especially toddler age, they're a lot to handle already. And how do I handle it? I think I would like to think of it more of um it's not necessarily just, okay, do your job as you're supposed to do, but really try the best that you can to help people. So when I'm at work, I help the team, or I help my team right now. So currently, I don't have people or direct reports, ours, which is a big relief for me now. So I can
You can focus more.
focus on my two kids. But before, when I was coming from maternity leave and I have a handful of team members to manage, it was not easy, and it's not always limiting to work topics. It also go beyond that. You check with
Oh
them,
yeah.
how are
Uh-huh.
you mentally, because that helps, how they are working. And I hear really a lot. I've been to different HR topics, really, from the previous years that I was managing people, because people can be very different, regardless if you are very professional, or you're still starting. There's always like the level of how they deal with you or deal with themselves. So it's just really a matter of guiding them as much as you could, and checking up on them every now and then. Are you okay? Because you can also feel it in the atmosphere, in the team environment. And do as many one-to-ones as much as possible. Talk to them more rather than just
Mm-hmm.
chatting or messaging in Teams, or for example. So talk to them more in one-to-ones. And yeah, if work, I focus on work. And if at home, like weekends or at night, I try to spend as much time as we could, me and Paul, with the children. So you just have to balance things, because yeah, it's a way of it's a job that you need to do. At the end of the day, you're measured for that, but also you're also helping these people reach their potential, same as
Yeah.
where you have been before. So I was trying to replicate what I have been learning from my previous manager and try to use it
And pay it
in the,
forward.
yeah, pay it forward. So when one team member was telling me that they wanted to move abroad, yeah, be very supportive, because I was also being supported by my manager before. So don't stop them, listen to them as much as you could. And yeah, just do your more interpersonal skills. And I always associate myself as introvert, and people will not believe me. I am introvert, but I can be extrovert if needed, if at work. But I am a very introvert. So you could just imagine the level of challenge as well for my side to really um do it outside of my box. And okay, this is me in work, but this is me in real life. But there are different persona that you can play off, but you don't have to
Mm-hmm.
be very exactly the same person at home or at work. There must be a boundary, I would say, because one thing that I have also learned that of course they can be your family as well outside of your own family, but it cannot be you need to have a work life balance. So
Yeah.
there must be a boundary in between, so you can be two different people at that, if that's possible. It was possible for me. But just do your interpersonal skills as needed. And I think it worked. And yeah, I think so. I would like to believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, John, I just wanna add as well that different people are motivated in different ways. Like some people are
Yes.
motivated when they are like really pushed, to the core, and other people are motivated in other ways of motivating. And what's beauty of you being a manager, I hope you were one of my managers, John, because the people who were under you were so blessed because you're very selfless in that sense, that you focus. Yeah, you focus to yeah, you just don't focus on your personal achievement, like I need to
Mm-hmm.
go there, I need to reach this.
Mm-hmm.
You were very focused on helping them, but look what happened, Jan. Because you were so focused with helping those people, I mean, it's like just a blessing in disguise.
Yes.
That I believe that got you to where you are now because of
Ah.
what you have accomplished for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really it, John. And all right, so for everybody, we kind of mentioned that I mean, Janet was a working scholar, so I was a working
Mm-hmm.
scholar as well in the university
Yes.
that we had we took our degree in accountancy. That's University of Cebu.
Taboo.
I dili maklaro no, pero I have my picture, one of my graduation picture
Oh.
in there. Yeah, so Jan, and you also mentioned that your we call this experience as a working scholar really helped you, and
Yeah.
like being assigned to the presidential department. And if I remember it correctly, Jan, when we took the exam for working scholars in Cebu, I mean in University of Cebu, if you're like one of the top 10, you have the chance to tell them which department you want to be assigned. Like you have that privilege to tell the
Mm.
HR. Like, yeah, because back then when I applied,
I didn't know. I
you
didn't
didn't
know
know?
ours.
Okay,
No.
yeah. Yeah, they said that, oh, since you're what I think top 10 or top 5, like
Mm.
you can
You can choose.
request. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you can choose blah blah blah.
That's nice.
So for people, or if you know somebody who would like to excel in the corporate world, try to. And yeah, if you want to apply in University of Cebu working scholar program in University of Cebu, I'm deeply grateful to Attorney
Yeah.
Go and to the university. And
Yes.
I suggest that you aspire to be in the top 10, and then you can request to be assigned in the president's office, right, John?
Yes. We learn a lot of things.
All right, John, what is your best memory as a
Oh,
working scholar in University of Cebu
Cebu.
house?
Well, other than meeting my husband there, who's Paul, I think that should be the first, the
Yes.
best memory. So I met him there. Yeah, 2018. In University of Cebu. So he was assigned in the HR department, and I was assigned in the VP office, so we are very close, and we always have this get together always, and we see each other, and then that's where it happened. But other than that, I was one of the best memory as well is really also working for Dr. Barcelo and Atinerma, because
Mm.
I strongly believe it's where my mindset of being a strong-willed, independent career woman was coming from. Maybe I have it somewhere at the beginning, or I don't know, innate or something
You always have
developed.
it, Jan. You always
I
have
oh,
it. Trust me, you always have it. Like ever since first year when I get to know you, I know you are a leader deep inside and you are very driven. I can
oh,
really feel it.
oh gosh, thanks, Ars. But yeah, I think it helped me more to be. Oh, Dr. Barcelo, she was not easy. She's very strict, but I always look up to her that she's very smart, she's very strong person. She knows what she wants, and up until now, and also at Tinerma, I am just happy that I got to work with them, and I still call them my friends. And back in the days in the Philippines, we always make sure that we visit Dr. Barcelo on her birthday on February 14th, and she's still in a very healthy state, and I'm just happy to see her. And yeah, so I think that's also one of the best things as well, ours.
So it's really, so I would say religion, no, it's really association. See, that has
Yes.
shaped you. Yeah, so
Yes.
this really, yeah, it's really something, guys, na you really have to study your life right now if that would that would bring
Lead you.
you to, yeah, lead you to the kind of person that you really want to be, because that really
Yes.
plays a big part.
True.
And like what who said that? Brian Tracy, that the life that is not examined is not a well lived life.
True.
So that you really have to examine, and it's never too late to do some changes. And yeah, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm very proud of you, Jan. Now, my next question is, um, accounting, in the accountancy world. I know we had a lot of it was a struggle. Like we
Yes.
started. I think our batch was 400 something plus in first year,
Mm.
and then we like the we graduate. I mean the
10
graduates from that batch was like
or
less
less
than
than
20,
or less
right?
than 20, yeah.
Yeah, so any advice or words of encouragement for those who are still pursuing their accountancy degree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, continue what you have started, as long as you can still, you feel that you can still do it, you can still make it. I'm not sure if they still have this maintaining average per subject that they do, but regardless of that, continue what you have started. But try to reassess as well. Is this something that I really want in the future, or something? Because BSA or BS accounting, I think for me now at our level at this age, it didn't doesn't really matter. Of course, the CPA board exam, being a CPA, helped me landed my first job, my first two jobs in the local in local companies in the Philippines. But later on, it's nothing really significant in my view. So other than, of course, really just studying. And I know BSA is such a struggle, a challenge, but try to disconnect sometimes from your books or into studying. Try to be somewhere else, or look for a space to be somewhere else other than your books. So that's why I'm also grateful to be a working scholar, because I think for me it has given me a break, not to very much think of to just stay in the library and study, study, study. So it gave
Mm-hmm.
me the right realistic experience of what it looks like after all of this. So try not to be too much too hard on yourself, and try to give yourself a break as much as possible. If there is a chance for you to be a working scholar, if you think you can do it, well, we did it. We managed to do it. We graduated as working scholars, passed the board exam, landed where we are now, and it really helped. So not really very much focus, fully 100% focus on just the study, on the books, because that passes later on.
And being so hard on yourself if, say, for example, you did not meet your academic
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah.
Because
No,
yeah,
no, it
like
doesn't
you said,
matter.
yeah, like you said, John, when you get into the real world, it's really more of your EQ. Like it's
Yes.
really more of like how you carry yourself, how you present
Yeah.
yourself, how you deliver
Yeah.
your thoughts. So aside from also equipping yourself, the skills necessary or the knowledge necessary for you to get the passing grade, make sure also to teach yourself these skills of the communication skills, most
Yes.
importantly.
Most importantly.
Yeah. All right. So at this point, John, let's visit the comment section and we'll see if we have comments here. And so we have Jackie. Hello, Arlene and Janet. And oh, we don't have a question from our
That's
viewers.
good.
Probably they were super we call this um engrossed, not engrossed, like super involved with our conversation, John, that they were not able to think their questions. And also my husband is also watching. Hello to all of our 9 million viewers watching, John. All right, so now let's move to the next part of our conversation. Now, John, when you broke the news to your family, I know you are very close to your parents and to your
Yes.
siblings. When you broke the news that you're gonna migrate to Australia, what was their reaction?
Um, I think I'm also grateful that we have parents who are very supportive as well. So, believe it or not, they are the ones who were always asking me, "Do you have plans of going somewhere else or going abroad?" Or even before when I was still single, because maybe they believe that it's something I can do. So I think there were more mixed emotion, because for sure they will miss me and the kids and Paul, especially the kids. But they are very supportive, and that's also something great for the family. So yeah, I know I miss them so much as well, but they know, they understand the decision.
And you said these big decisions happened in 2022 and it happened pretty fast. How did you
Yes.
prepare the kids for like to be away from grandma grandpa?
Really, I didn't do anything. I don't know. I always tell Paul or tell them, you don't have a choice. You just go with us. Because what's I think what also helped that we move out from our parents' house, because Paul and I got married in okay, sorry, I mentioned 2018. We met 2008, we married 2018, 10 years ago. And after that, a few years, we were living with my parents, with my siblings in the same house, with Paolo as our first child. And then just like few years ago, we decided to get a house, and then we managed to move in 2021, like after the big typhoon
Pandemic.
that we have.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was
yeah, that's right. I
December 2021.
I
So
forgot the
it
name
was
of the
like,
typhoon. Mm-hmm.
I forgot as well, but it was on that
Odette.
same timing.
Typhoon
Odette.
Odette.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's Typhoon Odette. So it's actually very much on a very right timing at the time, because Typhoon Odette, it gave us like a safe space, so we moved there, all of us, for a few days, until we moved fully. And I think it helped somehow that the children knew the feeling of just us in the house. Of course, we have
Mm-hmm.
helpers. We have two helpers before, but just us. Of course, my parents and my siblings would go there every now and then, like every weekend. But the feeling of, okay, it's just us in this house, that might have prepared them. Unconsciously, I didn't really think of it, but now, to when I look back, yeah, that actually helped a lot. I didn't plan it. It's just really God is so
Yeah.
good that everything
Mm-hmm.
is in the right timing. And until now, even I'm told here that, you're very lucky that you got a daycare for your children at this timing. Everyone is in the daycare, and also everyone is telling me it's really a good decision. It's really the perfect decision for you, that you moved to Australia, because everything seems to be very much in place. Although I we haven't planned it, we just have to make that big decision and go with the flow,
Uh-huh.
and God did the rest. I always believe that. Paul and I always
Yeah.
believe that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's so nice. And then you kind of mentioned also earlier in our conversation that the trip to Australia with two kids was a struggle. Can you can you share with us how was it?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the maybe just to have a step back. So the visa was actually very quick to get, the 482 visa. I think maybe because it was processed by already by an agent. We have all the requirements. So actually we were granted with a visa in less than 2 weeks. So 1 week and a half. And
Wow.
very quick. And I was even
Oh
told
my
by our
gosh.
HR, it's the first in their history, like moving people from everywhere in the world going to Australia. We were the fastest ever since. So God
My.
really was doing everything for us if you think of it. And yeah, so November last year, we got the visa. We thought, okay, we're good to go. We will be booking a ticket for, after Christmas, just so we spend maybe New Year here and then we transition and this and that. But we have this requirement. So maybe just to share, because this is also important. So depending on your contract that you got outside of the country, our government, local government would require you of, I'm not sure, I don't think you were required ours, but we were required to have an OEC. It's called Overseas Employment Certificate, and it's issued by the POEA. And
I did not. Yeah. Okay.
that's such a struggle for me. I was very stressed because it took more time to process that, to be granted with that,
Then the
compared to the
visa.
visa.
Oh
Exactly.
my goodness.
Exactly. And I was, oh my gosh, okay, this is just one
That's
of
the
the challenge.
bureaucracy.
That's the
Bureaucracy
bureaucracy.
of the government.
Exactly. And I understand their intention that, you have they have you in your record, they can monitor you or whatever happened to you outside the country, they can support you, you have some benefits and all. But I ask a lot of people, even the agency, the relocation support, from the company, am I really required to get the OEC? And yes, they answered me yes, because I found out it actually depends on your contract. So if you have a local contract, like really an indefinite contract with no duration, like local contract, and that's what I got. You have to have this OEC, this certificate issued, because if you don't have it and you reach immigration officer, which is a trending topic now,
Yeah,
they
very
will
trendy.
they will ask you of your employment contract, your visa copy, and all the records. And if they found
Uh,
out that you don't have an OEC, you will be offloaded.
uh-huh.
Imagine. So I have to make sure, I really required, because I don't want to just be offloaded when we were there. So okay, let's do this. I need to get it. So good thing though, it's only for me, so Paul doesn't have to mind that, or the kids. So it's just me, because I am the one who has the contract. They're just my dependents. So all the dependents for the working visa for A2, they don't need an OAC. So for me, I have to have the process to really get through the process. A lot of requirements are, oh my gosh, I don't know, I think there another separate discussion can be enough to cover
Yeah.
that. But it's such a pain. So I got my certificate on the day of my birthday, January 10, and it's almost 2 months processing, December, January. And it's such a pain. So going back to your question, so obviously if you book a ticket like a month before your departure, or a few weeks before your departure, you will get a good
Rate.
ticket, or you would,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
not only rate, but the company doesn't mind. But as
Oh yeah,
good
that's right.
good options, okay, one two stopovers only, or direct flight. So you will have those options, because it's still far
Okay.
from your for departure date. But what happened, because of my precious OAC, this certificate, it's only 2 weeks that we have to advise the relocation support to book us a ticket. So what happened?
Yeah.
We have three stopovers. Imagine, with two
Oh.
kids. So our flight destination was Cebu to Singapore, Singapore to Indonesia, and then Indonesia to Brisbane, Australia. And
Oh.
just the thought of that you have to carry the kids. And the first trip was fine, they slept the entire time. Cebu to Singapore, in Singapore they had a good time. They were still playing. Then we reached Indonesia, and there were still fine until, the Indonesia to Australia. I think it took 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours to reach us. And it's during the day, and during the day they are up, they're not sleeping. So you can just imagine my son, my daughter, who were just who would just like to leave the plane. And we can't
Yeah.
wait to arrive. So it's such a pain, a challenge. And me and Paul were just laughing when we think of it. But one advice that we could give is try to check in your baggage, as many baggage as you could, and just bring a handful of important stuff for you and the kids. Because believe me, we brought a stroller, but we cannot check it in because it's too big. That's one. So check your stroller if it's allowed as a
Overhead.
overhead cab in the
Uh-huh.
overhead cabin, because it depends on the plane as well, that they don't allow it. So we have it checked in, so
Oh.
we didn't manage to use it, although we were bringing it. So my son is 20 kilos,
Oh my goodness.
Janaya is 10 kilos, and then we were bringing some stuff with us. Oh my god.
Oh wow.
So it was such a challenge. It's like we have so many lessons learned from that trip. And it's the first time. So okay, we think of it, okay, lessons learned, we know what to do in case we go home to the Philippines and go back here. So that's
If
one.
you can say,
Make
if you can share some, Jan, what are those lessons?
Yeah, so bring us check in. So that's one, check in as much luggage as you could. Of course, that depends on your luggage allowance, but not to bring too much with the kids. So use backpacks as much as possible. So just the basic stuff that you bring, bring them milk for sure. So they're still in formula milk. Well, I am breastfeeding Janaya, which is good, because I can just put her on my breast, and then she's fine. But for Paulo, he's having formula milk, and Janaya also is like mixed feed. So I also have to give her formula milk. So one struggle as well is the hot water. So
Mm.
because of the travel time, obviously you cannot expect the hot water to be still hot in Australia when you arrive in your destination. So we found ways, in the restaurants, in the airport, try to ask hot water for the milk. So good thing they were very kind to give us, or in the airplane to give us. So that helped. The airport food is not the airplane food is not so much, I don't know, too friendly for the kids. They're too picky
Oh.
for that. So bring as much snacks as you could. We finished everything. Well, they finished everything that we have brought, so that helped at least to
Oh.
keep
Uh-huh.
them fed, to keep them happy.
That's right.
And yes, and what else? Bring as much toys, just the small ones, to keep them entertained. And yeah, that's mostly it. And try to book a ticket that's really far from your departure date, because and try to select as less stopovers as you could.
Yeah. But in your case was a big shout out to the OAC agency. Like maybe improve your processes so
Oh yes.
that like for yeah, for people who will be traveling with the kids, that they will not be doing three stops when they can have one stop. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
they just yeah, anyway. And then Jan, finally when you got to Australia, how was the transition phase? Let's say, how was your first week in Australia?
It was quite okay. I mean, we arrive here in summer, so it's in January, so it's still summer. Summer just ended, so the sunny, the warmth. It's not. Philippines is too humid compared here, so it's a nice weather. So it's summer. It gets up to 30 degrees, but not really that warm. So the kids were adjusting very well. So I think they were fine with
Nice.
it because we arrive in summer. So which is good. Again, we didn't plan for that, but it happened.
Uh-huh,
And
uh-huh.
that we arrive in summer in January. And Yeah, it was a struggle though between work and making sure that they're okay at the apartment. So, it was
Did you
just
work right
Paul
away?
and kids. Sorry?
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Did you work right away?
Yeah, I did work right away.
Ooh.
Yes. Because one thing that I cannot really postpone more my travel to Australia, because they need me for something in February. And if you can imagine, they need me immediately. I was still transitioning from the knowledge, the learning. I was starting to have trainings when I was still in the Philippines. That's also something beneficial for like the same company that you are transferring, because you can just do that online, even without going there. But physically, I have to be in Australia because I have to talk to different people when it comes to the project. And it's such a struggle. I have to spend few nights really to adjust myself. Of course, we have to take. I'm just very happy that Paul is there to take care of the kids. So you can imagine
Uh-huh.
taking care of two kids, and he was not doing that when we were still in the Philippines, because we have helpers.
Yeah.
He was always been working his entire life, and
Yeah.
that's why I was always asking him, "Are you sure that?" This is it, this is the life that we want. And I always check up on him. Are you okay? Are you still okay? Taking care of the kids. Are you not bored yet? Because it's so much. Two kids, a toddler, two toddlers, actually. So
That's right.
I'm just happy that it made it very much easy for all of us on those transition months.
Yeah. And to our viewers as well, I just want to share that Paul, Janet's husband, is a civil engineer.
Yes,
So, and
yeah,
so I mean, so John, yeah, I'm surprised with Kuya Paul. Like you said, like he really rose to the challenge. Like
yeah,
someone who didn't have that kind of experience and handling kids. But I know, but I know Kuya Paul. Like even before when we were in the colleges, he's always been a very responsible kind of guy.
yes,
And yeah, and
yeah. But
but John, event. What you know what?
it's but you know what, it's different when you have two kids taking care of them. Well, he's very good at children, which is good. He has nephews and niece, and it's not something, of course, we had children already, but to be very fully hands on with the kids, it's different. So it's just really hats off to him as well.
Yeah, but eventually, John, what are your plans? Is he gonna be working as well?
Yeah, he's working starting next week. So
Oh
yes, very fresh news.
wow!
He had an
Wow!
interview. Well, it's not in line with the profession in the Philippines, which we don't mind. But anything that that could kickstart his life, his working
Career.
life in Australia, as long as it's something that he enjoys doing. So he's the kind of guy who doesn't like really too much of his work. So he doesn't like to be sitting in front of a computer whole day. So that's why the construction industry, civil engineering, construction of buildings was really his type. And anything that can just keep him moving, he's happy. So
Mm,
technician or anything, he's happy. And yeah, we were just happy that he got it's very well. We started applying for him online. I think 2 months. We're already 3 months here in Australia. So a month ago, okay, he told me, let's see. He will apply, start to apply, send him. And it's not easy to land a job here, ours.
I bet for sure.
Expectation versus reality, people are saying there's so many jobs in Australia, which is true, but
Uh-huh.
it's not so easy to get one, especially if you don't have an experience yet. So you really have to have that first job that would kick off your working life in Australia, no matter what it is. He's not a cleaner, but hats off to the cleaner, but something that he will be a technician, something for a company. He will be training for two weeks, and then we'll see. So yeah, his start. We're trying to prepare the kids. So what's also good is he will be working Monday to Friday. He's starting early, and then leave early as well. While I can be work from home. So that's also the flexibility that the company is giving.
Very
So I
nice.
is very nice. So it's like a good combination. So he can work full time, 8 hours within the day. I can be work from home as well for a few days. So Paulo is currently in a daycare already for a few weeks, and we just enrolled Janaya. So she will be starting end of this month as well. So yeah, both of them will be in the daycare, so we can focus on our working careers, working life
Yeah,
now.
I really salute the both of you, John. And maybe Kuya Paul will also join me in a conversation sometime in the future,
Yeah,
and
sure.
share his
His
experience,
story. Yeah.
yeah, his story as well. Wow, John. All right, John. So you said it has been a challenge, but because you and Kuya Paul really, team up,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so and you guys are making it work, and of course by the grace of God as well, that there are so many surprises that you didn't I did not plan all of this, but it happened so perfect. That's
Exactly.
so nice. And
Yes.
all right, Jan, what do you like after living in Australia for what, 3 months now, a little
Three
over
months.
3 months? Yeah. What so far, I mean, are there any culture shocks that you have experienced so far?
Oh yes. Main one. Before coming here, I always look into the internet, look for YouTube videos, expectation versus reality, just to prepare me. As I share to Paul, he shares me things. And we try to get ready for that, but you can never be ready of anything, of everything. I mean, so um, it's mostly what we have. Search online. Okay, that's true. Okay, that's true. But one thing that they have not really dealt in the internet or in YouTube is the driving the roads. Oh my god. I am not driving myself. Paul is driving, but just even familiarizing the road, because the fact that they are driving on the other side
Oh
means the road
yeah.
is also the other side. So it's reverse. So sometimes when I cross the road, I look the other way when actually I have to look this way.
Yeah.
Because the car are coming this way and not this way. So I have to. That's something like for me, like a culture shock. And every time
Yeah.
I sit in the passenger seat and Paul is driving this way, I'm also very amazed how quickly he learned as well on the right hand
Right. Uh-huh, uh-huh.
driving. Because I was telling, oh my gosh, if I was driving, I might have bumped to that car, because again, it's the other way, and it's like, and the
Right.
and the, and the roads are very tricky, and
Tricky
it's
in what sense?
very tricky in a way that, okay, can I enter this lane or this lane? So they have a good road system or highway system, but for a newcomer, for a new starter, or someone who was very used to left hand side of things, wow. I don't know how Paul learned that so quickly, but I have to also somehow adjust or have the courage to learn driving. I have to soon, but it's something I think for me is still, I'm trying to take it easy for now, because it's very much overwhelming, the roads, familiarizing the roads. I'm not so good with directions, that's one. So it's my weakness, it's my weaker point. So yeah, the driving the roads. And I was also having using public transportation in the previous months, until we got a car. But um I I was everywhere, meaning I didn't land to where my destination is. So it's like, okay, I passed through my. So this story, so they also didn't tackle that in the internet. Public
Oh yeah, yeah.
transportation may not
Uh-huh.
be that easy. Of course, I know
Easy
the
to navigate, yeah.
Yes, and of course they have an app where you can just put your origin and your destination, and then you use this bus number or this train. But oh gosh, it's such a big country or a big place that you really have to be mindful of where you're going, because like for me, oh my gosh, I was lost many times. Good thing that we have a flexible time in the office that I can be late
Yeah.
regardless. So that's fine. But the public transportation is, they have good public transportation, but not too good. I think they're still improving on that r so, because I have seen the level of public transportation in Europe, which is very nice and very nice, like train, the bus. But they are trying here, I think, that's why as well, actually this state is like they call it a car city, because almost everyone has a car. They
Yeah,
would rather
here
have a
pretty
car.
much here as well in where I live in the US.
They would rather have a car rather than having public transportation, and public transportation is not also cheap. Like if you try
Oh.
to, that's why I was saying okay, let's get a car. It's more advantageous for us, for a small, for our family, especially for the kids, rather than doing public transportation every now and then. You could imagine, before our car arrive ours, we are traveling, going places with strollers, with big
Oh
bags,
yeah,
with two
yeah.
children,
Oh my
carrying
goodness.
them towards the train or towards the bus. Those are the struggles that we've had. So that's why we decided, let's get a car. We
Now you
need
really
it.
appreciate the life of having a car because no need of, carrying by,
Exactly.
manually.
Exactly. Yes.
Very nice.
So
And
yeah. So
aside from
that's
that, Jan, what else?
the weather is I think as expected. So it's sunny. We have four seasons, but it gets very cold in the morning and in the night, but the entire day, because it has sun, it gives you warmth.
Oh,
So it can
really
reach to, like
nice.
now it's 25, so which is nice. You can go out, go on in picnic, so which is nice. And I think expect one thing as well is I wasn't expecting this place, specifically in Queensland, in Brisbane, to be very, the food to be very fresh. I know it's a self-sustaining country that doesn't have much imported products, but I didn't expect it to that we can find fresh seafoods in the
Oh my,
supermarket.
I miss that. Like salt water. See,
Mm-hmm.
yes. See,
Yes,
oh
yes.
my gosh.
So they have
Wow,
that, and
you're
they
so
have fresh
lucky.
produce of vegetables and that. So that's also something that, so I was very much amazed. And uh it's very great for the kids. I think that's why the transition as well is not very hard for them and for us, because it's like actually the Philippines, but on another level. Eat the same food, we eat the same, I don't know,
Wow.
seafoods,
Uh-huh.
vegetables, fruits, because somehow it's a tropical country. It has parts where they can produce their own fruits. They have mangoes, so they have avocados, many avocados. They have pineapple. So technically, what we have in the Philippines. So um yeah, the food is very great. I thought actually Australia is like they don't have their own food because they're so multicultural. You can see a lot of races here, like Koreans, Asians. It's even hard to distinguish the real or really the local Australians, because it's very much mixed here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of races here, and I thought they don't have their own, food. They don't. It's very much influenced by the different races or culture that they're in. So Indians, Chinese. So which is true. They have many restaurants on those, but actually you can find really their local produce, which is very great, which is similar to what we have in the Philippines, and that's something I appreciate very much that I didn't expect, and I really like
Nice.
it. Yeah.
Wow, you're so lucky, John. Here, seafood is really something I missed because
Mm-hmm.
Washington is pretty much away from the ocean. Oh, actually, we're near the ocean, but they don't like the grocery stores, they don't really carry saltwater fish, pretty much
Mm-hmm.
mostly fresh water.
Fresh
and
water.
i and we're not used to it, right? We're
Mm,
used to
yeah.
the kind of fish that we were eating, which is saltwater in the Philippines. That's so nice that you have that kind of life in Australia.
So
So
nice,
John,
yeah.
what other things, like what are the pros of living in Australia, like for those who are still undecided if they're gonna pursue living Australia, what
Mm-hmm.
can you tell them about the
Mm-hmm.
life in Australia? Is it worth it?
Oh gosh, very much worth it. Me and Paul are always talking about it. And yeah, we're just happy that we made that big decision last year. We're happy that we chose this place, because Australia is very big. So it's really up to you what you would like. If you want to live in a much colder place, so you go to Melbourne, or you want to live in a very sunny tropical Australia, then you go to Perth. So Perth and Philippines have the same time zone, so technically they're really like the same. Or you go to Queensland, where we are in, where it's very chill ours, and It's very, they say that Queensland is, or Brisbane is the best place in Australia to grow or to build a family, because it's very
Mm.
chill. I don't know how it is in the other parts of Australia, but here it's very chill. You know, people, work life balance is very much used. So if it's, for example, 3 p.m., 4 p.m., regard end of your shift, okay, you go home. They respect that your time here. And you know, the fresh environment, the fresh foods that we eat for the kids, the free parks, the free,
Oh, yeah. You've
so
been
many
going to, yeah.
so many parks that we can choose from, and it's free, all free. They have the playgrounds. We don't have to go to the shopping center like we do in the Philippines and pay for a play area, or the, per hour.
Uh-huh,
Here it's all free, and you can enjoy the outdoor living, the weather and all this. And is, you can see where your tax is going.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
Because you can feel it, you can see it, you can get, as long as you have a car, you can go anywhere here and find a place that's free. Of course, there are also some theme parks that they call it, but um as much as you can, find something free, go for it. And it's such a nice place to just raise children, and
Mm.
I'm I'm just so happy that we are exactly in this state in Queensland, because I think it will be a different way if we were somewhere in the colder Australia or in a much warm Australia. So Brisbane is just perfect for us and the family. So yeah, there are some Filipinos here. I think they're coming. And what's also what I've learned, I heard, and I also felt it, because when I was doing apartment hunting hours, it took me a while before I found an apartment, because everyone is looking for an apartment. Everyone is moving to Brisbane. Everyone is
Wow.
moving here, and that's what I learned, because since COVID, people, this place was not struck too much of COVID, according to them. So, and we have big areas here. The cost of living is also much better compared to, for example, Melbourne. It's
Uh-huh.
not everything is expensive here. Actually, rice is even less expensive here compared to the Philippines. That's
Philippines.
one.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Yes, and actually, that's also one expectation versus reality thing. So, the cost of living here, from what I've known, from what I also learned, that's why it's also a good place to raise a family or children, because the cost of living is better compared to the other states, in Australia. And yeah, it's just so much better here, ours. We have four
Mm.
seasons, which we like. So we will have winter soon. We have autumn now. We get to experience spring. Of course, no snow, which we don't mind, honestly. But because I can't imagine as well my kids in those very thick outfit or what's but anyway. But yeah, it's just a perfect place for the kids and for us. So if you think of moving somewhere in Australia, really, Queensland is a perfect place. And I think, especially if you would like to raise a family.
Oh, God willing, John, I'll be visiting you and your family in
That would be nice,
Australia.
ours.
Yeah. Well, it has been a lovely conversation, John. Thank you so much for sharing your heart, sharing your knowledge, sharing your experiences. I know people who are listening or watching us tonight or yeah, today, because some of our viewers are from the Philippines, some are from the US, which is actually 8:30 p.m. now here in Washington
Ah,
State. Are blessed to hear your story. And there's no questions actually, John. There's no question. Like they're just enjoying, they're just loving us, listening to us. And so yeah, I guess thank you, John. And I hope this would not be the end of our conversation because
oh
I really
yes.
love talking to you. And I can totally feel that there will be a lot of topics that you can share your experience,
Mm-hmm.
share your knowledge. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you so much for the support, Jan, and I wish you all the best. Regards to Kuya Paul, and thank you as well to Kuya Paul. And I'm very happy. I'm really, really proud. Like what I told you offline, I'm really, really proud of the achievements of my classmates in
Yeah.
college. I'm very, very proud of all of you. And thank you so much, Jan. And to all of the viewers, don't forget to give this video a like or share this to your friends if you found this valuable. And if you want to see more of my videos, if you have video suggestions and questions, leave them in the comment section below. And I hope to see you all next time. Until then, have a great day, all of you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thanks, ours.